Hey, my name is Mark Myers, and if you're new to the channel, welcome, and thank you for coming. Before I get into the top 9 things I love about my Tesla, let me give some context. So I'm not a car guy, but I am a tech guy. So when I drove a Tesla about 7 years ago, I was like, I need this car because it's more than a car. Just about a year and a half ago, I invested in Tesla with the hope that the investment and profit would actually allow me to buy a Tesla. This isn't a conversation about stocks, but although the stock did really well, turns out one of my brothers was actually looking to upgrade his 2018 Model 3. So my goal and timeline got fast-tracked, and I now am the proud owner of a 2018 used Model 3. Thank you, Luke.
Tell me the truth.
Let's go, hop in.
Tell me the truth. It's not our car.
So I've owned the car for about 2 months now, but before the awesomeness factor faded, I wanted to list the things that I loved about the vehicle. So here goes. So the interesting thing about Tesla is not what it gives you, but kind of what it takes away. And one of the first things it takes away is a key. Official key, the way we normally think of one. There's nowhere to put it in. There's no button to press to turn it on. So no key means you never lock the car, you never unlock the car, you never turn it on, you never turn it off, or at least that's the perception. It just kind of does it all by itself and you don't have to think about it. Essentially, your key is your phone. So the way it works is through the Tesla app, the Bluetooth in it connects to your car. So as you walk up to the car, it knows you're close and the car unlocks. When you leave the car, it knows you left the car and it locks. The other key is a card key, and it essentially can unlock the car or lock the car. And if you didn't have your phone for some reason or wanted to lend someone your car, you just lend them this key and it sits right behind the cup holders. So the next thing I love about Tesla is I don't need to brake. Now, obviously that's an overstatement, but driving this car fundamentally changes the way you drive. Although there's still 2 pedals, an accelerator and a brake, the car has regenerative braking. So as you take your foot off the accelerator, the car slows down fairly aggressively. I didn't even hit the brakes. That's what it does.
Really?
Instead of driving like accelerator and brake, you accelerate and then slowly decelerate in order to slow down. You can change those settings on the touch screen. You can say that you actually want it to roll and not regenerate as aggressively, but I like that feature. Oh yeah, the other cool thing is the car knows when you're stopped, so it applies the brake for you. So if you drive up to a red light, the car will actually engage the brake on its own, just subtly. And next is minimalism. When you sit inside this car, it's hard to not notice that there's not a lot to notice. It's very clean, it's very minimal. Most cars have a ton of buttons that you press or levers that you move. This car has, I think, about 7 buttons that I can press, aside from the door panel. There's 2 buttons on the steering wheel. There's a button for the windshield wiper. There's a button to park. That's 4. Oh yeah, I forgot. I knew there was a 5th button, and it's the one that I was trying to find and I couldn't find for a while, and it's the hazard button, and it's straight up. And if you want to count these lights as buttons as well, then that's 7. Where the buttons are right where you want them. So what do these magical little scroll buttons do on the steering wheel? They probably do more than I even know, but on the left one is volume control, and you can actually press the buttons left and right. These also control your mirrors and the tilt of the mirrors. The right side mainly is used for voice commands. You press and hold it and can ask Tesla to call somebody or to play a song or navigate. Oh, and additionally, I believe these buttons control the steering column, telescoping and going up and down. Next, the other undeniable thing about Tesla vehicles is their personality. They are very minimalistic, but under the hood, they have a sense of humor.
This might be too much, I don't know.
So some people like potty humor. I happen to be one of those people. So when I open up the Tesla and notice that they have a whoopee cushion, emission testing mode. I laugh at that. Childish, yes. Funny to some, also yes. And Elon Musk, I forget exactly when he was born, but he's clearly a child of the 80s. So many of his references are 80s movies, 80s music. So there's a bunch of Easter eggs in the car.
Joshua.
There's a Super Mario Kart reference. There's a SNL reference. There's a romance mode where you can have a fire and the heat comes out to set the mood. There's even a karaoke feature in the car. Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the... So we're not gonna do that right now. You can make music tracks in here. There's a sketch pad. The list goes on and on. So the car has a personality. You can feel it. It's tangible. And that's one of the other reasons why I like this vehicle.
This is a sweet deal.
Speed. Now, I'm not a car guy. Essentially, you want the speed just so the car and you are closer aligned. It's like you want to go into that spot. You want to hit the accelerator and the car to do exactly what you want. This car gets you very close to that. In other vehicles, gas-powered vehicles, if they're a little slower, you might be on the highway and you might need or want to get in front of this car to get into the space in front of you. And the car just doesn't react. It's like a phone or like any piece of technology. We want it to be as closely aligned with the speed of our mind as possible. This car, a Tesla car and electric vehicles, bridge that gap a little more to get more in line with your mind and what your intention is. It isn't the fastest. I've been in a Model S on ludicrous mode, and that is ludicrous.
Ludicrous speed! Go!
This is the right amount of power for me, the right amount of speed. Plus, I'm a family man, so you don't want to drive too fast anyway.
Whoa, Daddy, stop! I never went that fast before. It wasn't actually that fast, it just moved.
The next thing I like is it's electric. That is pretty obvious. It's an electric vehicle, but it is also a huge perk. As I said off the top, it's not what it gives you, it's kind of what it takes away, and it takes away your need to go to a gas station. You're essentially filling up the car at home. You get in the car, you do what you need to do, and it's one less thing to think about. It's good for the environment, although there's a lot about battery production that I don't know and how good or bad that is for the environment and on the disposal side. So I don't want to just blanket and say it's better for the environment. In general, I'm all for electric vehicles. The pro with gas is that it's pretty fast to fill up. You pour liquid into the gas tank, takes you about 6 minutes, and you're done. With a Tesla, if you're at home and don't have a good power connector, you could take a day or 2 days to fill up your car. So as you may or may not know, Tesla has supercharging stations throughout the country, throughout the world. They're not everywhere, but they essentially charge your car much faster than you would be able to at your home.
It's charging. Oh, it's going fast!
If I'm going for a far drive and I type in a destination, the car will send me to a supercharging station along the way, and then it tells you where other charging stations are that aren't even Tesla owned. The next thing I love about the car is the screen. You're essentially driving a computer. That's the way actually a lot of people put it that get into the car for the first time. Aside from the very few buttons that are at your fingertips and at the door, everything else is run through the display. So the screen tells you everything, whether you're in park, drive, reverse, what speed you're going, where the cars are around you. It even tells you if there's cyclists or pedestrians or cones, and it's only getting better and better at recognizing things around you. Essentially everything you need to do in the car. Do you need to adjust the air conditioning or heat the seats or play the music or obviously the navigation? Once you go through the system a couple times, once you go through the display interface a few times, you're like, oh, okay, that's where that thing is. I'm still not perfect with it. Maybe it's not as intuitive as I would want it to be, but it is pretty darn good. Oh, the other cool thing about this display is it holds the manual for the car and it's searchable. So, for example, if you want to set your home as your home destination, I was like, I don't know how to do that. The fact that this screen is as large as it is, you kind of want it to be even bigger, but it's a perfectly fine size. You can watch Netflix and YouTube while you're parked on this display. That's crazy. Another thing about having a screen this big is when you reverse park, the whole screen is the camera. So, and it's a high quality camera. So parking in reverse got a whole lot easier. Next is related to the screen or the control system for the car itself is over-the-air updates. Maybe you've heard of over-the-air updates. It's essentially the same thing as with your cell phone, how it'll say that an update is available. So you don't have to go and buy a new device to get new features. It will update by downloading the latest software. The same applies for Tesla.
Everybody's doing that now.
Oh, no. What he did was great. He designed his computer so that it could learn from its own mistakes.
What I love about Tesla is they, and Elon Musk and the people that work for him, follow first principles, which essentially just breaks things down to their most simplest form. So everyone's like, oh, you got a car, you buy a car, and that's the car. But someone at Tesla was like, well, why can't a car function in the same way as my phone? I think one of the more recent updates was that it would notify me if a window was left open or a door was left open before you wouldn't get a notification on your phone. What was something else that it did? Oh, gave you the ability to access the side cameras. So if you're backing up, even while you're driving, you can swipe up and also see what's to your left and right. Plus other updates has even made the car faster, if I'm not mistaken. So that is very cool. And finally, autopilot. So a lot of people probably know what autopilot is with respect to Tesla. And what it is you initiate it, it controls your speed, your distance from other cars, and keeps you in your lane. So when you initiate it, you can feel the car get hugged by the lane. I don't love driving. I actually get a little tired when I drive. I kind of get a little sleepy. So I'm one that is definitely looking forward to the day that we can allow our cars to fully self-drive, FSD, as Tesla names it, full self-driving. I want to sit back, chill, do whatever I need to do, work, talk, interact, sleep. I can't wait for that day. That day is not today. Autopilot is not that feature. With autopilot, you essentially have to keep your hands on the wheel. It needs to feel a bit of tension on the steering wheel. So usually I can just drive as I normally would and just hold on right here. It just feels that little bit of tension. Autopilot. This is a message for Elon. It is not named correctly. Autopilot should not be called autopilot. And we think of autopilot, at least myself, I think of a pilot, of a plane. And when you go on autopilot, the assumption for the average person is you engage autopilot and the pilot gets to get up and go to the bathroom. The plane is going to fly itself.
Automatic pilot. There it is.
Auto might not equal autonomous, but it's exactly where our mind goes. It's like automatic. Autopilot is not automatic driving. So autopilot is not a good name for what the car's doing.
Roger. All right. Request vector. Over. What?
A better name would be co-pilot. Because the way you want to think of driving a Tesla, the amazing thing about a Tesla is when you're driving and you're in control, you're the pilot. You're monitoring everything. You're steering where the car's going and when it's doing it. But the car is so smart that it functions as a co-pilot. Computer is the co-pilot. So if you're veering into a car or don't see a car when you signal, the car warns you and is like, hey, heads up, you're going to hit something. So if you engage autopilot, you're basically telling the car, I'm now the co-pilot. That's a big responsibility. You have to be the warning system for the vehicle. Everyone makes mistakes, the pilot, co-pilot, the computer, the human. So until it's full autonomous driving, autopilot's the wrong name, co-pilot. Elon, rebrand it to co-pilot. I think that name's already taken by somebody else, but I think you get my idea. That's it. So that's my list of the top 9 things that I love about my Tesla. The list goes on, but it had to stop somewhere. If you like the video, let me know you like the video by liking the video. If you want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button because that motivates me to make more videos and it actually helps the channel. Thank you.